So the Clock app gave me the ability to upload 10-minute videos, and I kind of did a poll recently that asked where I should post more content, and this is the one that won. So I'm gonna make a quick video, and it'll probably wind up on my YouTube somehow as like a short or whatever if it's within the time limits. But basically, I kind of want to have an honest discussion about something that was a part of my life I strayed away from, but I still keep up with in an internet context. It'll be easier to explain once I dive into it. So at some point in the early 2010s, I had a litany of health issues. I was a very, very sick early teenager, and I actually wound up having a lot of really weird hormonal stuff carry over with me into adulthood. Like, I just started going through puberty in my early 20s. I'm 25 now, and as of recent batteries that I did, I am about 14 years old biologically. Do with that information what you will. Regardless on that, during that time period, I was very sick and tried a lot of things to better my health, and one of them was actually going plant-based in a couple of different varieties. So I started off trying to do vegetarian. That did not work for me. Quitting meat cold turkey was incredibly difficult, and then I started experimenting with a lot of plant-based food and supplementing with fish, which is a thing that worked. And what finally broke the camel's back the first time for me giving this a try was passing out after a football practice because I wasn't properly supplementing my diet. I would continue on and off with different bouts of this, sometimes doing it for like 6 months to I think about a year and a half was the longest I would ever make it. And I've been doing this in spurts for a litany of reasons throughout my life. But generally speaking, I have a lot of love and respect for like vegan and vegetarian communities, and I kind of keep up with them a lot because I like to see what people, especially people of color, are doing in terms of experimenting with fun and different ways of eating food. I try to do meatless stuff every once in a while, and there are things that I enjoy, generally speaking. So following these communities on Reddit has been a great source of fun for me. One of the many vegan communities that I lurk actually is Reddit. They post a lot of really fun recipes on there, and generally speaking, occasionally there's some fun discourse about, food accessibility and things of that nature. So anyway, I was scrolling through r/vegan yesterday when I came across a post basically asking for context on this. Pause to read it, but essentially it is a screenshot from the creator Afrida, and I want to preface this by saying before you watch my video, it is to be one of those to be a hater trend videos, and the creator actually takes down what I'm about to engage with. And I just discovered this today because I would have never made this post if I saw the backlash that she got. But it is what it is regardless. So again, feel free to pause to read. But essentially, I, attempting to be helpful, chimed in and gave some general resources on understanding the discourse that could not have been conveyed in a 4-second TikTok with no speaking from the creator in question. And it turns out I gave a pretty good guess as to how we got there and what the general sentiment that led to that wound up being. And if you know me, I'm typically really thorough with these things. Some of that is as a result of my educational background, and then some of it is because I genuinely like just discussing things. And in good Reddit communities, you can do that without fear of quote-unquote backlash or people just being hateful and weird, but it would eventually turn out that it was not that. Again, pause to read. So anyways, at one point earlier this morning, the post had like a ton of downvotes. Like, I think it was in the double digits, and in the hours since it's gone down to -4. But the only response I got was this weirdo saying this. And I don't know. I think the issue with this all here is if the thing that stops you from listening to somebody's opinion on a subject is the fact that they acknowledged your race, you were never willing to listen to begin with. And again, the creator who was originally screenshotted for this post would engage with this and why quote unquote white veganism is a plight to people of color, generally speaking. And I kind of want to delve into this a little bit with the remaining time I have left. Again, this is where I will defer to the original creator because she actually did a really, really good analysis of why that mindset is so pervasive and harmful to people of color who also practice veganism and other forms of non-meat eating lifestyles. I personally, again, am no longer plant-based and have not been for a very long time. I haven't even tried in quite some years, if I'm being completely honest, but I do know enough about these axes of performativity that I can speak and say that A, it often winds up drowning out voices of BIPOC individuals, as well as B, specifically when it comes to veganism, which is something that I hinted at within the post. It being a form of consumerism, there is already going to be exploitative means of harvesting the food. So it is hard to take a moral high ground when there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. And even that individual who responded to me last, referring to it as carnism and making it a moral wrong when people in a lot of cases are eating what is accessible or eating culturally even, I think that's just a very weird standpoint to take up. You could not support somebody's lifestyle and not equate it to some of the weirder things that you see this equated to, such as the civil rights movement, slavery, rape, and all kinds of things, especially when you consider that slavery, social injustice, and sexual harm and assault are things that are part and parcel with the way that a lot of food is produced. So anyways, again, I guess more or less I want to open up a dialogue about how these things get processed by the outward world, and also kind of engaging with the idea of if someone, again, doing the bare minimum transgression of acknowledging your identity turns you off to something. I personally feel like you may have never been receptive to begin with, but maybe it's just me. Anyways, feel free to weigh in on the comments, and I'm gonna try to start posting more. Thanks.